Welcome back to another day of work with me. So let's get into it. That was the before, and then I am starting off with a strong middle part after I wash and blow dried his hair, and I start from the front of his head to the crown, and then I separate two sections in the front. And for the first section, I go from ear to ear because the way his undercut is, it just made the most sense to me. And then I split the bottom section into two because you can see his hair is a little bit shorter, so I wanted to go in and do small sections just so that way I could stretch the hair as much as possible to give him as much length as possible in the braid. And then I wanted to give him a lot of braids, as many braids as I could, so that's why I went in and I did smaller sections. It just made the most sense to me. So we are now in the second row, and giving him still as many braids as possible. In the first section, I think I was able to do about 5, but in the second section, it's like we have more hair to work with, so I think I did about maybe 7 to 8 braids in this section. And the gel that I use for my braids, I use a neat braid a lot, and then I use lock and twist. Lock and twist is my number one braiding gel. I really like that braiding gel, but if I don't have that, then the neat braid is always a good go-to as well, and I'll link both in the description. So my client, he goes by AE the Great on Instagram, so you can follow him. I'll leave his link in the description below. But he's a singer, songwriter, producer, and rapper, and now he has his own podcast where he talks about music and how people get their start. And then he did a video on me too, so we're gonna add barbers in there as well. It was really dope because his friend came in. You might have seen him in the background, and he was recording us at the same time as me working and recording this process. So we both did our thing for our YouTube channels. But I'll leave his link to his channel and his link to his Instagram for you guys to check it out if you're curious. It's a really dope podcast. He's really good at interviewing people and learning more about them. So I will leave both of those in the description, and it was an honor to be on his podcast, and I can't wait till the episode comes out. So now that we're back at the top, I'm gonna split the back section into 2 with another middle part. We're just continuing it over and cleaning it up. But then you have the right side, the left side. So I'll split both of those sides into 2 more sections. And then I am angling the front braids so that way they kind of like go over his face, and it looks really good at the end with like the shape up and the taper. You'll see. But I always recommend asking your clients, like, do you want all your braids to kind of go to the side of your face, or would you like them to like come in the front a little bit? It's just always good to ask people's preference. And since I did the one side, the top section on the opposite side is way easier to do because all you had to do is just mirror it, you know? You take the point from the one side and you just continue it over on the opposite side. So once you get to that section, it's like so easy and so smooth and you can get it done very fast. So my fade and braid service is probably my top 3 most popular services. I think it's number 2 or 3 at this point because I do beard treatments too, and like, you know, haircut and beard treatment is a pretty like big service that I do. Like it's very popular. Um yeah, so fade and braid, it takes a few hours. Like I would love to get my times down, but it's just a long service because I'm doing the wash, the blow dry, the braids, and then I'm doing the haircut as well. So haircuts usually take me about like 45 minutes to an hour, just depending on like, you know, like whose hair I'm cutting, how high density it is, what style it is, and you know, other factors go into it as well. But yeah, so usually the braids and the blowout and the wash, that usually takes about 2 hours, but sometimes it could take like 2.5. It just all really depends on the style and, you know, the density and all that stuff. But yeah, my goal, I think, is to just get my times down to like 2 hours would be cool, but we'll start with 2.5, just so that way I could do more throughout the day. And now we are getting into the undercut. So I go in with my number 1 guard. The lever is open and I'm going with the grain, and this is just to debulk. And now I am doing a low taper on him, and he wanted to get rid of the sides and just keep the goatee, and I think that's a really good look for him, so I was all about that. But if someone wants something that I don't think will look good, I also try to advise them like, hey, maybe we should try this instead because of X, Y, and Z. Like I think that this would be a better look. So most of my clients are like, they value my opinion and they're like, okay, you know what, if you think this looks good, then we should do this. But if I don't agree with like something that they want, I might try to convince them. But at the end of the day, it's always up to your client because they have to walk with it. That's what makes them feel confident, and that's what makes them feel confident. Then you go in and do that, because at the end of the day, they're paying you for the service and you gotta do what they want to do. But it's always helpful to have suggestions too on what you think will look good on them. So now we are almost done. I am doing his shape up. His shape up is a little tricky because his growth pattern in the front, like he has a cowlick on one side and on the other too, so like it kind of like splits, and then you have to like kind of do like 2 different shape ups on him. But I got through it, and then we are hitting him with a straight razor finish to okay, and this is the final look. So we did the triangular braids, and then we did a low taper in the front and a low taper in the back as well. And then he took the sides of the facial hair off. We just did the goatee. This is the finished look. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you have any requests for the next style of braids, or if you want to see color, another beard treatment, let me know below in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.